Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Pamela Walker, the head of Life Sciences at Gate One and host of our Life Sciences in the Spotlight podcast series. COVID-19 has undoubtedly been a catalyst across the healthcare landscape, igniting the need for pharma companies to pivot and change overnight. Gate One has been a strategic partner of Novo Nordisk over these past months, supporting on patient engagement transformation to further improve patient outcomes. Given the current climate, we thought this would be a fascinating time to discuss how COVID-19 has impacted patient engagement across the industry. And so to kick us off today, I have the absolute pleasure of talking to Matthias Lakatosh and Oren Jelinek from Novo Nordisk. Matthias is the Vice President, Global Marketing for Ozempic, Victoza, and Cardiovascular Market Development, and Oren is the Global Brand Lead for Ozempic. I'm thrilled to have them join me and share a bit about their perspectives on how COVID-19 has impacted patient engagement within the pharmaceutical industry. So firstly, coming to you, Matthias, what do you see as the key challenges that pharma companies are facing in light of COVID-19 when it comes to patient engagement?
The pandemic showed the limitations of all healthcare systems worldwide in regards to patient support. Access to diagnosis, education of patients on disease, and the onboarding to new important treatments suffered greatly. The lockdowns demonstrated that specifically for patients with chronic silent diseases such as diabetes, improved solutions are very much needed. Since many patients couldn't visit their doctors regularly anymore, the importance of patient engagement is further heightened, supplementing the support of their healthcare professionals. So, this redefines the role of many pharma companies, from being mainly focused on the research and manufacturing of medicines to provide a more integrated solution beyond their core capabilities. One of these new core capabilities must be to provide sustainable patient support solutions. These solutions must not provide only education and being informative, yet rather empower patients to improve their lives living with their chronic condition. Although the idea is not new and many companies do a decent job, thanks to COVID 19, we now better understand the gaps in the national healthcare systems and how we can collaboratively improve patient care and outcomes. Patient engagement programs are a key pillar to improve people's lives, especially when living with a serious chronic disease. So let's use the pandemic to learn and to improve patient care together with our key partners in healthcare.
And so, building on that, Matthias, what new areas of innovation do pharma companies need to focus on to secure that meaningful engagement across their patient engagement programs?
Well, the lessons learned from COVID 19 demonstrated that healthcare systems have limitations in providing a holistic and sustainable patient support. It's a key role of pharma to co create such sustainable solutions together with patients, healthcare professionals, and caregivers. It is a perfect time to use digital innovation as an accelerator, moving away from traditional, often quite passive support tools. And new tools must now be versatile and focus on empowering patients and being adaptive. Perhaps most important, a true end to end interactive omnichannel patient experience has to become the goal of creating patient centric solutions. With deep understanding of the needs of patients at different stages of the disease, we can cater more individualized solutions to address many different patient needs over time. This requires obviously significant investments, yet will offer the right solutions to many more individuals and become a key enabler to better treatment outcomes. So, thanks to the advances of artificial intelligence, we can improve analytics and the impact of solutions. This allows us to become more adaptive, to constantly improve the user experience, and to offer better solutions with frequent upgrades. It's exciting for me to see the progress, especially around natural language programming, to better respond to patient symptoms and needs. Companies like Babylon or IBM Watson Health incorporate it in their offerings across multiple disease areas.
Thank you, Matthias. And so, Oren, coming over to you, I would really love your opinion on what you see as specific capabilities that are most important for pharma companies in order to future proof their patient engagement initiatives in the wake of COVID.
I think the pandemic really put a big spotlight on the gaps that we as industry have with delivering impactful patient engagement programs Important capabilities are to truly understand the needs people living with the condition from their perspective, rather than from the brand perspective. So it is very clear what are the problems we want to solve with our solution. Again, the patient's problem, not our own brand's problems. Now, when designing the solution, I think it is important to have the capability to work in agile, which is not the nature of our industry. So we must find ways to be able to design a solution faster and get real feedback, which again is not easy in our highly regulated industry. COVID 19, of course, also accelerated the understanding that any solution will be based on digital. So we need to have the capabilities to develop such solutions, but maybe even more important, to know how to partner with existing external digital players. The support we offer patients cannot be minimized to the basics of how to use our product, let alone when we are talking about a chronic disease with many lifestyle and behavioral factors which impact the individual's health not less than the treatment. In that aspect, we should try to close the gap between pharma and consumer solutions from the customer experience perspective. That has an impact on maintaining new routines. I, for one, love the Nike Plus running app. It really helps me to stay motivated for years. It is very simple. It does not bother me every day or even a week. It gives me immediate feedback, celebrates my success, tracks my records so I can see how I'm doing, and I always have a tangible objective. It is also personalized, and I really choose the best way for me to be supported by this solution. And we are far from that in pharma. Similarly, the language education app Duolingo also does a very good job to keep me committed to the process by nudging, showing me how I'm doing versus others, and setting new goals as I go along. Also, they use personalization. But perhaps most important is the patient centric culture to support the development and investment in the needed capabilities. So companies really walk the talk. We should ask ourselves, are we truly patient centric? Meaning, are we sales focused or patient care and CX focused?
And from your perspective, Oren, are there any specific areas of the pharma ecosystem that you see as especially evolving and adapting to new market conditions and competitors in the context of patient engagement?
Yes, I think we can see more and more partnerships to support patients' better quality of life and their ability to measure and control their condition, better diagnosis capabilities, partnerships between two pharma companies, for example, in connected devices, or with startups, with or without payers. We also see an increased interest in AI based tools, both by pharma and national health systems, and this will truly be a game changer not only in healthcare. These trends will only increase with the exponential growth of technology and the declining cost for patients. So there will be a significant impact on the way patients are getting personalized, on time support with technology. And I think the question we need to ask ourselves as pharma, what is our role in this ecosystem? Are we manufacturing and marketing our products, or are we also into patients' care and support? And I think based on these emergent partnerships, it's pretty clear that pharma wants to be involved. And I think we should be involved.
Thank you, Oren. As always, that was incredibly insightful. And before we finish, Matthias, just coming back to you for one last question. I'd love to build on what you had described earlier about transforming the patient experience through accelerating digital. What do you believe are the key priority areas to execute and deliver an end-to-end omni-channel experience for patients?
Very good question, Pamela, and I believe our industry struggles to identify the best solution as a whole. In my opinion, first, you need to involve your organization to build a vision on such strong, holistic patient engagement program and to agree on its importance. This is a critical step to onboard the right people and functions and to facilitate proper resourcing and organizational buy-in. It often requires a good amount of time to turn patient centricity into action and to integrate it into an operating model so that all key functions address it with a healthy sense of urgency. Even though there are many solutions on what good looks like, it is imperative that patient engagement is a visible strategic priority and has secured resources for multiple years. It will certainly not succeed if it's seen as a nice to have or a short term quick fix. A good starting point to execute is to dive deep into available data and assess the current situation of patients and the pain points living with their illness. This is critical to build impactful solutions that address the right pain points and to improve patients' lives. Furthermore, it's highly relevant to continuously evaluate the impact of those solutions, gathering feedback from users, the patients, the families, doctors, and nurses. Only a great user experience will yield the best outcomes for patients. Because no matter how good the intent is to offer a support solution, its effectiveness depends on its utility to patients and if it triggers the right behavioral changes. On the other hand, healthcare professionals must welcome those solutions as a high value adding tool to their work. Yet always remember, for chronic conditions, many great solutions are not focusing on the medicine. Patients have much broader needs than to learn more about their medication. The true end-to-end experience addresses many questions beyond the drug. To help to empower these patients, these branded or non-branded solutions must be appealing and actionable, else patients with any chronic disease will not remain engaged to actively improve their condition.
Thank you both so much for these fascinating and illuminating perspectives. Really, a lot of very important food for thought. And that draws our podcast to a close. A big thank you to our guests today, Matthias Lakatosh and Oren Jelinek from Novo Nordisk. Your insight has been invaluable. Like you, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the industry has in store for us for patient engagement over the next 12 months, especially as we settle into our new normal post-COVID-19. Thank you again so much.
Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you.